You know, the great thing about Mexican food is kids love it, grown-ups love it. It's generally easy to make with pretty understandable and recognizable ingredients. And my family loves chicken enchiladas. What's great about them is they use some leftover chicken, and you can log on to cetconnect.org for tips on having plenty of ready chicken on hand. But they also start with a homemade enchilada sauce. And I'm going to be the first to tell you that you can go ahead and purchase a good quality enchilada sauce, but it's also nice to know how to make it. And I'm sure you've heard about a roux or a thickener made with butter and with flour. Well, in this case, I'm making it with flour and olive oil. All you really need is a fat and a flour together. That fat could be butter, it could be oil, it could be bacon grease, yum. It could be any number of things. And I'm just going to cook these together until it sort of takes the raw quality of the flour away and comes together in a ball. This will thicken up the sauce, not so that it's heavily thick, but you're used to seeing a pourable but thick sauce for an enchilada sauce. Just let this go for a minute, and again, feel free to use a purchased one. Once this is cooked off a little bit, I'm going to add some chicken broth. Stir it in slowly to incorporate the flour. Then I'm also going to add some crushed tomato. Yum, that thickens it up, adds great flavor. And what gives this its great zesty flavor is some chili powder. Get a good chili powder. All chili powders are not the same. Get a good quality one, and some cumin. I love cumin. A little bit of garlic powder, and of course salt to bring up the flavor. And then I'm just going to let this go while we work on the filling. It'll thicken up just a little bit and add great taste to our enchiladas. Okay, the filling, as I mentioned, is pretty simple to put together. It combines leftover chicken, which we've gone ahead and cut into little tiny pieces, sort of shredded, and also black beans. You can turn this into a vegetarian dish by using black beans and mushrooms or all black beans. Don't have to use meat to make this delicious. Chopped green chilies, I always keep these in my cupboard. You can add them to eggs. You can add them to any number of dishes to add just a little bit of a piquant, zesty flavor. Green onions. I added green onions because my kids always found green onions a little bit more palatable than a white onion. And then some sour cream. That's going to make the filling nice and rich and creamy. And then, of course, we've got to add our cheese. I'm using a combination of Monterey Jack and cheddar. If you wanted to kick up the heat in this a little bit, you could use a pepper jack instead of the Monterey Jack. And then, of course, we've got to add a bit of cilantro. Cilantro is in a lot of Mexican dishes. It's wonderful, adds such great flavor to salsas and to the filling of this enchilada. Just kind of bunch up your cilantro and run your knife across it. The stems are tender, so you can leave them in. And you can absolutely add this to taste. And I like to chop it a couple of times to make it somewhat fine, partly because my daughter doesn't like cilantro, so I'm trying to hide it. And then toss that into taste. I'll reserve a little bit for garnish as well. So this filling goes together so easily. Once my sauce is thickened up a little bit, I'm going to put some of that in the filling as well. See how this is doing? Just a little bit right into my filling. Yum. That cumin smells so good. When you're purchasing flour tortillas, you want to make sure that you pick up the package and kind of give it a roll in your hands. You don't want them to break or crumble. They should be good and flexible so that you know that you've got some nice fresh tortillas. I like to use the smaller size because I like to have a couple of enchiladas. And I'm going to put some filling right off center. And roll it up like a cigar. You always want to put these in the dish seam side down. A little bit more filling. And seam side down. Now, when you prepare the pan to put the enchiladas in, give it a little spray with a no-stick spray. And then, sort of like when you're making lasagna, you'll want to put a little bit of sauce in the bottom of the pan too. Not only does that add flavor, but it prevents it from sticking. So a little bit of sauce. Kind of tilt it around in the pan. And then you'll layer in the enchiladas seam side down. As luck would have it, I've got some in the oven all ready to go. These look great. The cheese is all melted. They smell fantastic. And you know, one of the problems with baking something like this is how to get the enchilada out in one piece. And I've got a little trick to show you. You can do this for large slices of lasagna and other awkward pieces. You'll need 2 offset spatulas or 2 narrow spoons, and you'll want to come in on either side of the enchilada and lift from 2 sides. So let me show you. First, separate them a little bit, and then going in on both ends, we've got an enchilada all in one piece. And then a little bit more garnish with some sour cream. Yum. Some chopped green onions. We're sort of echoing what was in our filling. A little bit more cilantro. And you know what? For go-together recipes, guacamole, and a nice salsa recipe, log on to cetconnect.org and click Amy's page.